Welcome back. I am Corance, and this is Elise, my sister.
Hi.
And we saw Aquaman, and we're going to talk about it today. I even made notes this time. Did you?
No. I'm just going to follow your lead.
Alrighty. Well, I liked it overall. What did you think?
I thought it was great. I love Jason Momoa. I thought it was really cool. I thought that they copied various story plots from various movies, but
including Black Panther.
Yes, it was just extremely close to Black Panther.
Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, it drew from a number of sources.
Yeah,
like Twilight. The song over the end credits. Didn't it remind you of that Twilight song?
It did.
The visuals from the end credits, that was like totally Game of Thrones. It wasn't a very deep story, but they kept it simple. But I think that's for the best.
I did too. It was Aquaman. It's about a man who's a fish. How deep can you go? Like, no shade. I love DC. Well, kind of, and I love Jason Momoa, but it was best that they kept it. Straightforward.
And they kind of put all their effort into the design and to the action sequences, which were done really well. And there's I like Black Manta, but I didn't think his character, the actor that played him, did I don't know if it was him or the script, but he wasn't that magnetic.
Which one is Black Manta? No, I see where they brought, because he's from the comic book, right? I see where they brought him in and gave him the Atlantean technology, yeah. But I don't know if I can really buy him as a viable villain, I guess. And they definitely set it up for the sequel, which was good because clearly they needed the scientists to kind of amp up his gear. But
he was blasting Aquaman pretty good.
Yeah, he injured him, and usually doesn't get injured. So maybe he'll be a really good villain.
But yeah, overall I liked him, and I liked his tech. I liked that fight that he and Aquaman had.
Yeah.
Dad was cooler, really.
Oh yeah, wait a minute. I actually liked his dad from other things he's done, and so I've seen him in I don't know his name, but I've seen him in a lot of his older work, and so probably. Is that him? That's Beach right here. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. And so Michael I've seen him in Soul Food and stuff like that I really liked him in. So I really think the dad was cool. And they set it up well to how he, created an enemy and that was the villain later on. And so I really like that story plot. Once again, it leans heavy on, other movie story plots as well. Yeah. Really when I saw it, I just thought, oh, this is Black Panther. And the half-breed son is the hero instead of the villain.
Because Black Panther had the war rhinos, Aquaman had war sharks, which were really cool as well. I would love to have a war shark.
and I really liked after he became after he defeated everything and became
Prince Orm, yeah.
Yeah. What did he become?
King of Atlantis.
King of Atlantis, yeah. I liked how he controlled even the savages of the ocean. Now that part I really liked.
What were they called? The Breach.
Yeah, and so he controlled the biggest monster of the ocean.
Never mind, the trench.
Yeah, it was the trench.
And the Kraken. It's the Kraken, but they called it. They pronounced it differently. The Karagan or something.
I don't know.
I guess to differentiate it, but it's basically a Kraken.
Yeah. And something else is Nicole Kidman. I didn't know Nicole Kidman looks so good, you guys. She looks so young. I didn't know
she was like, Aquaman's mom looks just like Nicole Kidman. I was like, that's because it was Nicole Kidman.
I had no idea. I was like, oh, they really cast someone to really have her mannerisms and everything. Because I legitimately did not think that was her. She looks so good.
Yeah, she looks the same as she used to. Yeah. I don't know how she does it. Who she made a deal with, or what type of technology she's employing. Maybe it's Atlantean technology. I don't know. To the characters, the characters were all pretty cool, including Aquaman himself. Of course, Jason Momoa is awesome. You're a Jason Momoa fan.
I am, and I love his marriage with Lisa Bonet. And like they have a really big age gap, but I think they're such a cute couple, and they're both very like I don't want to use the word weird, but like eclectic. They're just different, right? But they're really cool. I like them.
Yep. And I like that they made Mara really cool because she's really hard in the comic books. So I'm glad they made her hard in the movie too. Mara's the girlfriend, the redhead.
They're also skinny. Like their thigh gaps were just miles apart. Jesus Christ! Like, and they was all in those little leotard. But I mean, I guess
she was
Hollywood.
Classic white girl or whatever. No offense.
But right, but like her, I really liked her lace front wig, the whole red thing. That was
that was a really red wig.
It was really red, and like so you know.
I don't think there's a redhead in the world whose hair is that color.
Red, right? And I think, and I know I keep making comparisons to Marvel. Don't judge me, but she looked like another version of a redheaded Black Widow when she turned redhead in Civil War or whatever Captain America movie she turned redhead in. So
I think she was redheaded from the beginning, wasn't she?
Maybe she turned blonde.
She turned blonde in Avengers 3.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
But yeah, Black Manta. Ocean Master was cool, which was Prince Orm, his Aquaman's brother. You didn't like his hair, did you?
I didn't like his hair. It was just really bleached.
Well, he lives underwater. Maybe.
No one else's hair looks like that.
And of course, Queen Atlanta, his mom, she was really cool.
Yeah, I liked her.
I like how she showed up on the island at the center of the earth.
Oh yeah.
She had that armor made from the trench.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I knew she wasn't gonna they were setting it up where she wasn't gonna be dead. Like the whole movie, they were like, she was never seen again. They sacrificed her, this and that, and I was like, she's totally gonna show up. Yeah. And I didn't, but how she showed up was really cool. Yeah. Like she was disguised.
Like I said, this movie wasn't that deep. Yeah. It kind of telegraphed itself, but at least cool stuff kept happening, which that's that makes up for it in my opinion. Yeah, you can telegraph as long as cool stuff keeps happening. We mentioned it, but I like how Aquaman's telepathy was what saved the day.
Oh yeah, that was really cool. How he could talk to the ants, and she was like, "No one's communicated with me in 1,000 years."
The Kraken,
yeah. So that was cool.
So that was cool, and he got the trench on his side with it with his telepathy as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was cool, and hopefully we can put the Aquaman talks to fish jokes behind us now because I'm so over that. I was over that in the 90s. Okay.
It always brings up that
you might not
with the Simpsons and how they were making fun of them. It's so funny.
Yeah, but you know what? You might not know this, but Aquaman actually turned cool in the 90s, and I was hoping we put the jokes past us then. You know what I'm saying?
It's just so funny. It's because like he talks to fish and. What else can you do? But this movie, he did a whole lot. So this movie made him really cool.
He made the war sharks turn against them. He was riding that seahorse, that giant seahorse. Right. That was really cool. Right.
Casting and execution really gave him a cool image. And they didn't do it in a corny way. So it was done really well.
Yeah. And another thing about the movie is it was extremely colorful.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they did that on purpose, trying to right the ship at DC. So after the dark and dreary movies of Batman vs Superman and Justice League. Oh, I did not like Justice League. I'm so mad about Justice League. But yeah, Wonder Woman brought some color, and now Aquaman brought some color. But yeah, they brought extreme color this time. It was like Bollywood levels of color.
I don't think I've ever seen a Bollywood movie, so I don't know.
I got some we can watch.
Okay.
The final battle scene where the armies were attacking each other. Oh, that was so much color. And then Aquaman brought in the Kraken and brought in the trench and started going no, and taking over people's animals and stuff. That was awesome.
It was cool.
And that brings us to the action itself. The action I thought was pretty well directed. The fight scenes were cool. Aquaman and Prince Orm had 2 fight scenes, one in the Coliseum where he was challenging him for the kingship. and then another one at the end there. Both of them were pretty well choreographed, I thought, and showed their skills with the tridents.
Yeah.
And Aquaman, of course, learned he used his mom's trident, whereas Orm used their dad's.
But it was like, I thought it was kind of messed up how they broke the trident. Like, how
both tridents both their moms and their dad trident got broken at the end. But I guess that's symbolic because they were moving to a new era. But yeah, that scene where Mera was being chased by the Atlanteans across the rooftop, and Black Manta was chasing, was fighting Aquaman. Yeah,
that looked like a Bourne scene or like a Indiana Jones scene or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. In fact, the movie kind of turned into Indiana Jones in the middle there. Which again was a good thing. It was actually quite exciting. There were like 4 or 5 main references that this movie pulled from, but they put it together very well though. But yeah, I like the camera movements.
It's like when you write a paper and you pull from like so many sources to try to hide the fact that you're plagiarizing.
Or borrowing or sampling. Today it's called sampling, at least.
And they're borrowing storylines that aren't really copywritten because they've been duplicated in different forms throughout history. So it's not plagiarism, but it's not an original idea either. I mean,
it's kind of the main storyline in Aquaman was the prodigal son storyline, which that was used in it kind of backwards in Black Panther, but it's a classic storyline.
But I think that they took some specificity out of Black Panther that doesn't always go with the general storyline. Like the 2 different fights was totally Black Panther Wakanda. Like, I killed you, and then the mother and the sister or girlfriend came and saved him, and then we're gonna fight again, but I'm not gonna kill you because that's not what the era that I'm trying to go for. So I'm gonna let you live. And Black Panther, I mean, he killed himself, and in this one they arrested him, but it was just.
And plus, with the kind of the introduction to Atlantis. Was very familiar to the introduction.
Oh, we have all this technology that no one else has.
And that's what Atlantis is like. That's the Legend of Atlantis. Okay. It's just the Legend of Wakanda too. So but they put it to good use though. Okay. If you hadn't seen Black Panther, you'd think it was pretty great.
You're right.
The Atlanteans, I thought that the movie had great design elements, like the Atlantean armor. Did you like that?
Yeah, I thought the design of the armor was pretty cool. Yeah.
And Black Manta's armor was really cool. I wasn't sure if, from the previews if it would be look that cool, but I wound up liking it a lot.
I just thought it was weird, like the big eyes, like it looked like a huge ant.
Well, it was a manta.
Yeah,
a manta ray.
I know.
It's kind of how mantas look.
Yeah, I agree. It's just so weird. Just a big old head, and like. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna need a bigger helmet." I guess to justify the big ass head, but it just wasn't good.
Yeah, I liked it. Weaponry was real cool. Those guns.
Those were cool.
And the swords that the Crimson Guard used, the ones in red. I don't know if they had a name, but I call them the Crimson Guard. And the Crab Kingdom people were really cool. When they attacked that army that they were attacking, the crab people, they were really cool.
I think the design of each of the 7 kingdoms were good. Like they designed them so distinctly, yet ocean-bearing creatures in the same.
Probably my favorite was the Fisherman Kingdom, the mermaid-looking ones. Maybe because they were scholars and whatnot. And plus,
I don't like how he intimidated.
Yeah, Prince Orm. That made me hate him when he killed the Fisherman King and
in front of the daughter and
the
mother.
Intimidated the Fisherman Princess.
Let me tell you something.
I was like, damn that Prince Orm. I hope Aquaman whips his ass.
I would have shot him in the head. And God just would have had to get me. Because you're not going to kill my daddy like that in front of me.
That poor Fisherman Princess. She was all scared.
She gonna grow up to kill him. Watch. I bet he made an enemy just like the other one.
Yeah.
She gonna grow up to hate him.
She's gentle though. She's from a gentle race.
It's stuff like that that creates anger and vengeance inside. You can't just kill my daddy in front of me and think
that would actually be cool. That would actually be cool if the Fisherman Princess came back and took Prince
and was
Orm
like
out.
hard.
And finally, I loved at the end how Aquaman's dad and mom were finally reunited. That was a really cool
Oh
through piece of the movie.
yeah, where he was standing on the that was
Hmm. In
nice.
a way, the movie was about them, or
Yeah.
whatever, because it began with the dad finding the mom, the dad finding Queen Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and then they finally reunited at the end after he came to the dock every morning to see if she was there. And finally, he came and she was there. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was
And
nice.
she hadn't aged today.
Right?
He was older,
Nicole
but she.
Kidman looks crazy good. It's intense.
Oh, I don't know how she does it. So,
But I
yeah.
mean, I know it was a part of the movie that he ages on land, and like
Mhm.
maybe like you don't age as much in the ocean or something, or maybe the whatever.
Yeah, but that's like how Nicole Kidman really looks, though.
Mhm.
I don't know.
And then who's the one I was talking about where he was like a Spider-Man villain, and now he's in this? Who was?
Yeah.
What villain did he play?
What's his name? Willem Dafoe. He played Vulko, and he played Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
I was like, Green Goblin's in this.
Yeah, and he looked good too. I don't think he was really shaped that way, though. I think that was the costume. I don't think he has abs at his age. He's got to be like 70, 80.
And he had a lace front rig on too.
Yeah, he has that little man bun. But he looked good with it. He was rocking it. He was rocking it.
He looked good. God, put them lace
And
fronts
Willem
on
Dafoe
him.
had the skills. He had the trident skills that he was teaching Aquaman.
That's right.
He played a good Vulko. Vulko was hard in the comics too. He's one of the trusted advisors in the Atlantean kingdom.
Right.
So yeah, he did. He didn't bring the crazy like he usually does.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times in Willem Dafoe's roles, he brings the crazy, but he was perfectly sane in this one.
That's funny.
Such as his Green Goblin performance, he brought the crazy in.
Yeah, he did. But I liked it though.
Yeah. And the final thing I wanted to say about it was the Aquaman, unlike Venom, which I also liked, Aquaman made sense. Which brings us back to the fact that, it's not very deep. They kept it simple, but that's to the good. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't give you a lot of, it doesn't give the haters a lot of ammunition. You know what I'm saying? If you don't screw up.
First of all, Venom, I've never seen Venom. You're
Uh,
talking about the one with Tom Hardy, right?
Yeah.
Tom Hardy's hot. He doesn't need a good script. No, I'm just kidding. I've never seen Venom, but it did not look good.
I wouldn't say it was a good movie, but I liked it a lot, though.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I would say go ahead and see it since you like Tom Hardy because he is good in it.
I'm so glad they gave him a movie, like a superhero movie, because he's never done one before.
Wasn't he Bane, lest we forget?
He wasn't the hero.
Bane!
He wasn't the hero.
I was born in the darkness.
But every time, like, Christopher Nolan gives him a part, like, he makes him, like, cover his face. So he does that to a lot of his friends. And who else does he make cover his face all the time? Cillian Murphy is in all of Christopher Nolan's movies.
Yeah, he was the Scarecrow in
Batman
Begins.
And like he makes them cover their faces, but they're like great actors, and it's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, if you're a supervillain, you have a mask. What can I tell you?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I see that. I guess I see that. But yeah,
Tom Hardy was Bane. That was an excellent role, actually.
Yeah, it was really good. And I like the costume and stuff, but I'm glad he got like a superhero.
Well,
kind of.
Venom is actually a supervillain, but he's one of those villains turned heroes, like Deadpool. Deadpool, when he first came out, he was my favorite supervillain, in fact. But then after he became popular, they turned him into a hero.
Really?
They do that with a lot of villains, like the Punisher. Have you ever heard of the Punisher?
So who did Deadpool like fight against?
The X-Men. Yep. And whenever he would show up, he would put the X-Men head to bed. The X-Men could barely handle him. It was really an offshoot of the X-Men called X-Force, but it was basically the X-Men.
Fascinating.
But yeah, he would whoop the X-Men's ass, and Wolverine hates him. Wolverine cannot stand. That's why what's his name and Hugh Jackman have their little tete-a-tete. They're really good friends, but they pretend like they're enemies because in the comics, Wolverine and Deadpool hate each other.
That is so interesting.
And they really want to put them on screen together, but Who knows if it'll happen? Well, it might.
It might,
because
they're getting
X-Men
more and
are
more,
under Disney now.
They're getting more and more characters in the Deadpool
So,
movie.
but both of them are really campaigning to like put those characters on screen together. I would love to see it.
I wonder if they're gonna make another Deadpool movie, because I don't know if this one did so well.
I heard they're gonna do. Well, it wasn't meant to. It was just a cash grab, and it grabbed the cash, so it did what they wanted it to do. But yeah, I heard they're gonna do X-Force instead, which is the offshoot of X-Men that Deadpool would usually fight. But yeah, I love Deadpool. He would whoop the X-Men's ass, talk shit, and then leave. They would be trying to stop him because he would show up. He was a mercenary, and he would like show up for some reason, like to kill somebody or steal something or something. X-Men be trying to stop him. He'd whoop their ass.
Because he's like indestructible, right?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't that indestructible back then. He actually had limits back then.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning, his healing factor was about on par with Wolverine's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because now he can get dismembered.
Yeah, it's stupid. I don't know. They've turned him into a cartoon character.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, Venom was a favorite. Was probably my favorite Spider-Man villain. The costume, the symbiote or whatever, it was with Spider-Man first, which is why it looks like that. But whatever. They didn't mention Spider-Man in the movie. But
they didn't. Interesting.
We'll see. They mentioned that he used to live in New York, so it could be that he knows Peter Parker.
Interesting.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, that's our thoughts on Aquaman and Venom and a bunch of other stuff.
A bunch of other random stuff we talked about.
And Dunkirk and whatnot. So I've already seen Bumblebee. But if you want to, whenever you go to see it, I'll see it again because I liked it a lot.
Cool.
Or if we see it apart, we can come back together and watch it.
Definitely.
Or talk about it.
Definitely.
Or we can also talk about like a comic or something, and we can read a comic or something.
Yeah.
And talk about it. We can do a lot of stuff. So, if anybody out there has a opinion on what we should do for our next video, just let us know. And that's all for now. Live from Oak Cliff, I am Corance.
I'm Elyze.
And that's my sister Elyze. But see you next time. Bye.
Bye.